Hi, this is Neil's on Dynasty. Please like, share, and subscribe. Be kind, helpful, and grateful. Buy some silver and some platinum. This is going to be I'm going to try something different here. Uh, this is back about on Niger and France, but I'm going to run the video a little differently. See how it works. Let me get the volume up here. All right, here we go.
Police of deposed President Mohamed Bazoum. General Abdourahmane Chiani, the military leader, had signed 2 executive orders authorizing the security forces of Burkina Faso and Mali to intervene on Niger's territory in case of aggression. This decision was made after hosting a delegation from both countries in Niamey. Details about the nature of military support from Mali and Burkina Faso were not provided. However, both countries, under military regimes, had warned that any use of force by the West African bloc ECOWAS against Niger's military government would be considered an act of war against their nations. These actions by Niger's mutinous soldiers were part of their efforts to defy sanctions and consolidate their military leadership, with plans to rule for up to 3 years. When the
All right, the first interesting thing about that is Maya and Burkina Faso, those other 2 countries in Africa, just had military coups and were instantly threw their support behind the military coup in Niger. And another thing is America is running a pipeline, oil pipeline through Niger. That's why America has stayed silent and is not backing France. They're letting France stand on their own or fall on their own. And pretty much they're falling. But that's why America hasn't said anything, because we have to stay in good graces of Niger. So the political move by the coup in Niger is actually quite brilliant and well timed, because they have basically America's support, for lack of a better way of looking at it. So let's get back to the show here. Let's see here. 2:30. Let's go to 5:15.
for the police to execute his expulsion. Since the coup, the Western media has been selling the Western-made narrative that Niger's president was democratically elected. That's how the West supports the exploitations. It covers everything in a democratic banner. However, people in Niger tell a different story. It's not a coup for them, it's a revolution for them. Protests with chants of "Down with France" had become a common occurrence in the capital, including in front of a French military base in Niamey. France had called for the ousted president's reinstatement and pledged support for efforts by the Economic Community of West African States to overturn the coup. Following the coup in Mali and Burkina Faso, France had redefined its strategy and had withdrawn thousands of its soldiers from those neighboring countries. After the military junta in Niger ordered the French ambassador to leave, French President Emmanuel Macron reaffirmed that the ambassador would remain in the country and reiterated France's support for President Bazoum. He decided to make it a long game to test all French tactics. Perhaps he did not know that this time was different. Here's a reminder to please like and share the video, and subscribe to our channel to watch. Decided not to call the French ambassador, putting his life in jeopardy. Perhaps he wanted to play politics over the French ambassador's life, using him as bait to see what Niger's junta can do. Well, Niger's military showed what power it held. After the time to leave the country ran out, forces were sent to arrest French officials in Niger. Their stay was illegal, and they were given ample time to leave. But they did not, and this made them liable to being arrested. The most important of these arrests is of Stéphane Julien, the counselor for French citizens abroad, the focal person who might be having deep ties with Niger's former president. Later, France's foreign ministry confirmed the arrest of a French elected official in military-run Niger and demanded his immediate release. But we have to look back and analyze what he really said. Earlier, he said he would not take orders from an illegitimate government, but now, how is he requesting for an immediate release of the French official? Well, that's a tacit recognition of Niger's military junta rule in Niger. Macron wanted to leverage the possibility of escalating tensions between France and Niger. He expected that the military junta would not make such a bold move, but he was wrong, as it turned out. The foreign ministry did not provide details on where and how Julien was arrested or whether Paris had information about his location. The arrested official holds the position of Conseiller des Français de l'étranger, which translates to an advisor to French citizens abroad. These advisors are elected officials who represent French immigrants and collaborate closely with the country's embassies and consulates. According to the Foreign Ministry website, there are a total of 442 such advisors worldwide. They serve 6-year terms and assist French expats with various issues related to work, education, social security, and other matters. But in African countries, they do a different job. They are always in deep connection with the presidents, which explains the whole situation.
So basically, France has set up their political system specially for Africa to be able to control the countries and basically rape them of their resources, which they have done for quite some time. I'm not ashamed to say I kind of support the African countries. I know quite a bit about Africa. Spent 6 years studying on it. Was supposed to go down and deploy a invention I made to help elephants and the farmers down there. It never happened, but it took 6 years of my life studying, and I did study a lot about Africa. And I was always wondering when this day would come by the way they get treated. I'm also very interested in seeing how other countries aren't backing France, because in the report it stated that all the colonial countries left when asked to leave back in the like 1800s, late 1800s, whenever most of the colonials left, and only France kept their colonies. So the rest of these countries, and all these people, you hear these words, the colonial West, the colonial West, the colonial West. See, that's racist because it's not the colonial West, it's France. Every other colonial West country left there well over 120 years ago and did what the Africans asked. Only France did not. But as typical, if one Western country does it, all of us are guilty. That doesn't bode well for a long term peace. That's an ignorant outlook, and they need to be more specific in their hatred and not just all European colonial countries just because France did it. Everyone's guilty. Well, if we look at it like that, we can say, well, geez, one person was killed in an African country that was a Westerner, so that means all African countries are killing Westerners. If that's the way we want to look at it, Africa doesn't stand a chance. So everyone needs to quit with this colonialism thing and say French colonialism, because that's more accurate and fact based. The English pulled out, America pulled out, Germany, Italy, they all pulled out. France is the only one that did not pull their colonies out. So it's the colonial French West. They need to be specific because you're going to piss off a lot of people by blaming the blameless. And that's never a good thing. We need peace on this world, so we need to be more accurate in our description of who it is that we're talking to or about when it goes to geopolitical things, not generalize, because generalizations lead to bad communications. And so far, these guys are doing real good in Niger about good communications. And I've only seen stuff that they say the French, the French, the French, but the Western media changes the verbiage to Western colonies. So you got to check on, the news places that are reporting the news, because their verbiage actually shapes opinion. And if they change a couple words around, they could make you like or dislike what's going on down in Niger. So you got to keep an eye on that. And anyhow, I digress. Let me get back here to this.
France had maintained its military presence in Niger and had consistently refused an order from the new junta to recall its ambassador, Sylvain It, citing a lack of recognition for the coup leaders as legitimate. Tensions between France and Niger had been mounting in recent weeks, with Macron revealing that French diplomats were living under challenging conditions in the embassy, even surviving on military rations. Macron's decision came after.
See, there's the arrogance of a French guy. Oh, well, our ambassadors are having to live off the pathetic military rations we give our soldiers. See, this French guy is like, he just insulted all of his military men and he doesn't realize it.
The coup leaders announced earlier on Sunday, that they were closing Niger's airspace to French aircraft, both commercial and military, to regain control of their skies and territory. This restriction did not apply to other international aircraft. During an interview with French television networks, Macron revealed that he secretly spoke with Bazoum and informed him of France's decision to recall its ambassador and diplomats. Well, Macron is making fun of himself in front of the world. He is trying to show that he is taking orders from the ousted president of Niger, not the military junta. Well, no matter what he is trying to portray, he and France have lost their reputation and power. The military junta in Niger has just crushed French pride.
Basically, yeah. Along with the help of Mali and Barija, the other military coup that happened on the other side of their border, uh, Niger has done a great job of having a bloodless coup, which is actually kind of hard to do if you look through history. Uh, but anyhow, I hope you guys enjoyed this little different way of presenting the news. I didn't want to just show 8 whole minutes. It was like a 17-minute show. I just wanted to jump in there with certain things and to let you guys know the reason why America is not helping and other Western countries are not helping France is because, for one, the French are the only ones that have colonies left in Africa. They should have left over 100 years ago, like all the other countries. And for two, America's running a gas and oil pipeline through Niger. And if we support France, then we lose that right. And, well, Biden ain't got no power, so we'll just be looking like a-holes to the world. So we're just keeping our mouths shut, which thankfully is a good thing for the Biden America to do. Anyhow, God bless America. Like, share, subscribe, buy some silver and some platinum, and have a good night. And watch some Ahsoka. Ahsoka's pretty cool.